Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. We have large moons in Star Citizen, but there isn't really much on them yet. They each have a single biome, icy, barren, rock or Mars-like. Today I wanted to talk about the evolution of biomes and some of what we're getting in 3.3 in September with Star Citizen's big quali release then, with the first full planet, Hurston, its moons and landing zone, as well as showing off what we've seen so far. Star Citizen's Alpha 3.3 patch further expands the Persistent Universe's Stanton system with the first full planet, Hurston, Stanton 1, and the 4 moons that orbit it, Ariel, Aberdeen, Magda, and Eta, which are all named after Hurston big shots in lore. Just like the rest of the Stanton system, Hurston is privately owned. So, Hurston should have a good amount of different biomes on it, though moons look typically like they're only going to have a single biome, potentially 2 in some cases. You're going to have cases in the verse where they decide to chuck a load of biomes on a moon for some particular design reason. However, in the shorter term, with what we're getting in Stanton, it's likely they'll only have a single one. However, in the case of Hurston's moons, they haven't been devastated to the extent their parent planet has. And when we talk about biomes, what we really mean is the types of terrain. This can be flora and fauna based as well to an extent. Hurston is a planet that's ecosystem has been largely destroyed, with almost all indigenous life killed by mining and manufacturing performed there. As such, it's a juxtaposed set of biomes and environments. Hurston, Silly, Lorville and other similarly populated city biomes on the planet will dominate the landscape in some places. They're heavily industrial, densely packed and cold feeling, but with habitation also being essential there to house workers. We may also see a more industrial but less dense area, sort of like biomes placed around more big structure sets, I suppose. But they're likely to not have anything really there other than big industrial buildings. There are going to be large patches of trash biomes with old structures, junkyards, rubble and pollution all around them. They may have little shanty towns there too. It feels very Fallout-like. This biome very much reflects the environmentally compromised planet. Water. Hurston will be the first time we have actual water in-game in a liquid form. We don't know what interaction we're going to have with water in 3.3. We know that swimming is planned for some stage, and land claims may also be able to use liquids in 3.4. However, not entirely sure how land claims are going to work, as the Stanton system is a privately owned system in lore without UEE protection. So if you put a land claim down, they're supposed to afford you UEE protection. Maybe it's just legal rights in any UEE law-abiding system. The planet also looks to have like a mesa-type biome, which looks to be its dominant biome from what I've seen. That looks like where they've had Lorville in that 2017 CitizenCon demo. And it's been shown off a bit in ATV as well. Lots of rocks and flat-topped hills with a reddish hue. This looks to be mixed with the acid biome as well. So this is like lots of sulfur pools. Though I suspect to see these biomes split up. So I'm expecting to see the mesa and acid biomes together in some places, but very much more split up in others with just mesas and some bits. We saw in 2017 CitizenCon some fauna and plant life around Lorville, but the idea is that there's going to be pretty sparse amount of wildlife and plant life on planet Hurston because they've damaged the ecosystem so much. I don't know if we're going to see animals in 3.3 at all. We might. They might be very simple. There might be the little floating heady, honey crabby type things flying around. But expect to see lots of different plant life. Hopefully we will see some simple animals at least. Object containers. So there are going to be a few other biomes on the planet as well. Planets are very large in Star Citizen. The reason that we haven't had them previously is due to the object container streaming system needing to be fully implemented so that the size of a planet can work, which is also coming in 3.3. Network bind culling and some other optimizations being leveraged as well are going to help a lot. So some other biomes that we're expecting to see on Hurston or one of its moons are the forest biome. Now, what we've seen of the forest so far is that it is genuinely large-scale forests with, at the moment, placeholder trees, but expect trees in the future to be high quality, not the same tree repeated, potentially procedural in some nature, so all trees look a little bit different, but aren't super resource heavy. They've previously talked about destroying trees, cutting them down for lumber. It's unlikely that you're going to be able to cut them down for lumber in 3.3, admittedly. Potentially, you might be able to destroy them. We'll have to wait and see. We haven't even seen the high-quality assets that, or the way that they're planning to do the trees, other than they've shown that they want dense tree biomes, dense forest biomes. I also wanted to mention the acid and sulfur lake biome again, because we actually saw it in 2016 CitizenCon, along with a few other biomes mixed together on a very small potential moon that was going to be in the game. Now, that actually might have been scaled up to become Hurston, but I just wanted to mention that again because we got some footage of it and it was pretty cool. Savannah. So, Savannah was first shown at CitizenCon 2016 again. This is typically a mixed woodland grassland ecosystem with trees that don't create a canopy overhead. So typically trees are spaced out and not close together. So they've been working on trees swaying and bending in the wind for this too. With all these different biomes as well, we may see water reflected in them in different ways based on the biome, or it might be its own type of biome as part of each of these own biomes. So lots of subsets of biomes going on in lots of locations. We saw the desert biome previously with like sections of water and oases in, that sort of stuff. However, water might also be its own entire biome type, where you might just see water type planets or sections of planets, which are seas, that sort of stuff. Mountains, again at CitizenCon 2016, we saw large mountainous areas, and it's likely a lot of planets will have large mountain biomes across them to help split up the horizon, for example, but it makes sense for planets to have mountains in a lot of cases. We've seen some other biomes too on the moon in the vertical slice. Gaini, or Odin 1, looks to actually have a evolution of the rocky type biomes that we've got with Levski and Delamar. And once again, in the 2016 demo, we saw vast deserts and tundra. It's very likely that we will see a desert biome somewhere, either on Hurston or one of its moons. We also may see evolutions and variants of that Mars-type biome on Daymar, icy, rock, and barren biomes that we already have from Daymar, Delamar, Yella, and Selin. Biome variants. So this is a big thing, actually. So some biomes might truly be unique to a particular planet or moon. But in most cases, biomes will be based on another biome set or a variant. For example, you could have Savannah in different colours, different shaders, weather, different flora and fauna, or with oil instead of water, with sulfur pools instead of water, whatever. You'd actually be able to get a huge array of high quality variants of biomes we've discussed like that. Just changing the colour of the dirt would make a huge difference, but they can do loads and loads of little tweaks, different object placement, different types of stone, that sort of stuff. And potentially that is something that we might see in 3.3 with those biomes we've been discussing, being used basically just in lots of different ways to give lots of different effects and lots of different types of area, different feels for those areas. Star Citizen's gameplay area is being built incredibly modularly, and the tools they have allow them to create new biomes, structures, cities, interiors, props, and assets, and then drop it into the procedural tech that you already have and update it, so that they're constantly going to be improving that technology and improving the way that they generate these planets and moons. This is going to allow for a rapid building of the Star Citizen universe once Stanton is completed. They're going to have all these assets and they can build them out and use them in lots of different ways. And all of this is procedurally assisted, rather than entirely left to chance like No Man's Sky was. A set of parameters are used in Star Citizen to generate a moon, planet, or biome set on whatever they want to do. They can set the amount of objects, tree density, structures, things like that, decide exactly what biomes are on it, and then further refine it and tweak it after it's been generated with tools, and they can really dial it in exactly how they want it to look. They can paint in mountains, they can adjust tree lines, they can move cities around, and those cities are even built in districts that they can define. They can have public transport of sorts, and those interiors of those cities, certain parts of them will have large explorable interiors with shops and mission givers and NPCs in. Others not so much. They can generate the entire interiors of city planets if they want, but there's no real point for that in a gameplay sense. They do want hero areas to be congregated to, and for major hub areas to occur. So they'll do interiors of cities and large areas which require building interiors where it's sensible to do so. You can expect with each a major quarterly patch for each of these biomes, the blending between them and objects and structures on them to all get better and the placements improved. And these areas aren't going to be entirely empty in regards to things to do. There are going to be missions generated on Hurston and its moons and the ones we already currently have in game in this 3.3 patch in September. So it's important to remember that FPS AI is going to be part of the game then as well. So that's going to allow for NPC missions to be on the ground. So you'll be fighting NPCs. Eventually you'll have like wild animals and stuff to contend with, potentially. Maybe not so much on Hurston, because pretty much all the wildlife's dead, but maybe on its moons. But there'll be mission generation, there'll be wrecks to explore, there'll be little items and stuff to find, to salvage, to mine, lots of minables to exploit and discover. There'll also be a good amount of Easter eggs and little hidden areas to find, and some secret missions and that sort of stuff as well. But tell me what you think about 3.3's biomes. Are you excited about Hurston actually having a full planet, or do you just see it as a big moon and it's kind of irrelevant? Even if you have these cool vistas and beautiful forests and things, you need that gameplay in the shorter term to fill them up. Do you feel that there needs to be a balance between that, or you're fine with just the beautiful scenics, or that you want gameplay mission generated content to trump the way stuff looks? Or do you need more players in the server? Otherwise it's relatively irrelevant because you're playing in these giant areas in PvE effectively. Tell me what you think down below. Every month we have a Star Citizen vehicle giveaway. This time it's for a Tonk and Turtle, the Tumbril Nova and Anvil Terrapin, provided by our featured organisation, Talon's Outer Haven, a roleplay and exploration focused organisation that's individual member centric and like testing in the persistent universe. They have their own radio station too, and they're recruiting, so check out their org in the description below. But to be in for a chance of winning that pair of goodies, make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel and then comment on any of my videos made during May. Each video gives you another chance to win. Also, I'm working with Shadow, which is a cloud-based subscription gaming PC service that gives you an alternative to upgrading, but also as a gaming PC anywhere. I'm trying to make the service as Star Citizen friendly as possible, but please check that out again in the description below if you're interested, and using the promo code BoredGamer will give you a discount too if you decide that you like it. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help me, and I'll see you in the verse.